All right, this is it. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 244 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Hello, world.
Happy New Year, my friends. Hope all is going well so far. Hope you're having a good, quality 2022. I'm doing all right. Haven't worked. I don't think I've worked in 2022. I haven't. That's pretty cool, right? I did have that quick turnaround. I had to work late Thursday night and then had to be back in there at 10 a.m. on Friday. I don't do 10 a.m. 10 a.m. is a dead zone for me. That killed me. That destroyed me. It ground me into the dirt, like smashed me into the cement like a spent cig. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, when I came home that night, which was New Year's Eve, got off at 8:30, and I was like a zombie. Or as that guy in Greensboro I knew used to say, a zambi. I was walking around like a zambi. And I was trying to stay up to watch the countdown and all that shit, and I did. I stayed up, but I was like dozing in and out. And I was asleep. I was like I was in mid-doze when that ball dropped, When the ball, I don't know. I did see, so I missed the whole countdown. I missed the entire thing. I was sitting in the chair, my head tilted to one side, drool dripping out of the corner of my mouth. That's how I rung in the new year. I did see Journey perform live on the New Year's Rockin' Eve with that, what's that guy's name? Hosts that thing. Anyway, Ryan Seacrest. What is the story with that guy? I'd like to know. Is he just like, he's not, he's just like just an easy, just a solid choice. He doesn't really bring anything. He's not going to embarrass you. You can just put him in that role, and he'll just he'll just be competent, right? It's not going to be anything you remember. There's nothing that's outstanding about it, but it's going to be competent, and it's going to be reliable, and he's not going to embarrass you. He's not going to get you into trouble. I think that's all you need in life. I think that's what, Ryan Seacrest. We should all try to be more like him, right? Who's with me on this thing? Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh, I saw Journey on there, and I knew that. They what's his name? Steve Perry. Excuse me. Their lead singer during their big years, during their popular years when they were having all those hits. He doesn't have anything to do with that band anymore. I don't know. He's a weirdo, is what they say. He doesn't, he's almost a recluse, almost a recluse, ever how you pronounce that word. He's reclusive. He did put out an album recently. I don't think it was very good, but, he was like, he went for like 20 years and never sang in public. Very strange dude. And he has like some kind of axe to grind with that band. I don't know. But they found this guy who, I don't know where he's from. He's Asian of some sort. I don't know what country of origin, but he sounds just like him. And so he's been the lead singer in that band probably longer than Steve Perry was at this point. He sounds just like him, and he's out there, and he's like, I don't know. It's like very strange. So I watched that, and sounded pretty good. I don't know. If you like Journey, I never really did. Tell you the truth, I lumped them in with all those other. For some reason, Journey has. I don't know. They're okay. Back in the day, there were all these bands that were sort of like radio-friendly hard rock, right? You had Foreigner, you had REO Speedwagon, you had Styx, you had Kansas, bands like this. And I lumped Journey into that, but somehow, through the years, Journey has risen people think highly of them, like they're like a very important band, right? I don't know how that happened. It all happened after they basically stopped, after Steve Perry left. I don't know. Somehow they've risen in stature after the fact. I don't know how it happened. I mean, I always listened to them because that was the shit that was on the radio, and that's the kind of stuff I listened to back in like high school, that kind of stuff. I was listening to a little bit of that, junior high especially. But anyway, that was kind of interesting to see that guy belting out those songs. Sounded exactly like Steve Perry. The guy's like, I don't know, he's from Laos or something. I don't know where he's from. He's like Singapore or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, that's how my New Year's Eve, and I sitting in the chair, drooling on my shoulder into 2022. That's how I transitioned. Anyway, I hope everything's going well for you guys. I was thinking about something today, and I had some other stuff I want to talk about this. I don't know why, but I was thinking about something the other day. I remember this story about this guy. This is from several years ago. I heard this story from both sides of this. All right, so this guy was showing this other guy. I'm being, I don't want to give you any details on who these people are, but they're people I know. All right, people I interact with on a semi-regular basis. All right, so one of them was showing the other one pictures on his phone of his cat, of this new cat that he got. And he was like showing him pictures. He's like, "Oh, look at the little Pookie! Look at that cuteness!" And he's like scrolling through his phone, right? And then he scrolls over, scrolling through the pictures, like, look at that one," the way people do. And he scrolls over, and there's a picture of his dick on there, on his phone, and the guy's like, "Whoa!" The other guy. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, so I heard that story from the guy who was not holding the phone, the guy who was being shown the pictures of the kitten, the kitty, the cat. And then I was like, "Do you think he did that on purpose?" He goes, "I don't think so." I said, "What in the living finger-snapping, toe-tapping, knee-knocking shit is going on?" I said, "Why would he have a picture of his dick on his phone?" He goes, "I don't know. I think people do that all the time." I said, "I don't." I said, "Why? What is that?" And he's like, "I don't know." He goes, "It was disturbing. It's not something I want to see." I said, So then I didn't ask him. The other guy told me the same story. And it wasn't prompted. I didn't ask him about it. He started telling me, he goes, "Oh man, I really embarrassed myself the other day. I was showing him pictures of my kitty and my sweet little Pookie Poo. And I was scrolling there. He told me the same story. I said, "Why do you have a picture?" I said, "Why do you have a picture of your dick on your phone?" And he goes, "Well, there was, I had a request." I said, "You get requests?" He goes, "Well, a young lady that I've been going out with, she asked me to send it to her." I said, "Have you ever heard of saying no? I mean, is this something that's not familiar, is not in your, you can just, I can't even imagine a world. I can't even imagine a scenario where somebody would ask me for such a thing. But I would say, it's not going to happen. No way, And but I don't know. I said, he goes, "Well, she asked me for it, sent it to her. I forgot that it was on there, and I was like, what the." I just don't understand. So I mentioned it to somebody else. And I told them the story about it, and they're like, "Yeah, well, people send dick pics. Dick pics are like very, that's not unusual." I said, "Why?" I said, "I don't understand. Like, why? You snap that picture. All right, you snap that picture, right? And then it goes straight to the Verizon cloud, and your name is attached to that thing. Somehow. I mean, it's easily identifiable. I mean, I don't know, not by looking at it, I assume, but, I don't know. What do I know about it? but the thing goes straight to the cloud. Picture of your dick is out there floating around in the universe. Things bouncing off satellites. Things going around the world. I don't know who's looking at this thing. Like, what in the hell? I said, what? So what in the hell? And everybody's like I was the only one that was like surprised about this. Everybody's like, yeah, well, dick pics. That's not unusual. I mean, that happens like all the time. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm out of touch. I don't know. It feels like a gamble that I'm not willing. I mean, what if you get one of those hackers from Jamaica or India, and they're like, unless you send, I don't want to do the accent. That's some people find that offensive, but unless you send us $800, you wire us $800 or $1,200 or $1,500. This thing's going out. I mean, we're sending this thing out. Everybody's going to see this. That kind of thing. I don't know. I just don't think. I don't think it's wise. I don't think it's wise to be taking photographs of your dick and sending it via wireless transport to other people. I mean, I just think this is, maybe call me old-fashioned, whatever. So I was told this is another story. Somebody told me that they said, all right, I think I talked about this once before, but somebody told me, this is several years ago, this goes back a ways. He goes, I was watching porn at home. I'm like, what the? Already, like right out of the gate. Is this stuff that, I don't understand what people, like, so I was home alone. I was watching porn on my computer. I'm like, okay. I'm a little uncomfortable. And, this window pops up, and there's a woman in there, and she's like, hi, hi, would you like to join me in a private chat, in a VIP room or something? And he was like, yeah, don't mind if I do. I'm like, what the? I said, what the hell's this? He goes, you don't know? I said, I don't know anything about that. I said, I don't know. He goes, well, you can go off and have a private conversation, or whatever. I said, conversation? Yeah, well, whatever. So he goes off into this VIP room, supposedly, this virtual room that's supposed to be secure. And he goes, she starts doing her thing, I start doing my thing. I'm like, ugh. Oh, good Lord. And he's like, yeah. And so that, and everything's going fine. Everything's going along, moving along. And then suddenly my screen goes black, and I'm like, did I lose internet connectivity? So he goes. I was for a couple of seconds I was confused and I didn't know what was going on. And then suddenly there's video on my screen, recorded video of me, quote, doing my thing. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. I said, what happened after that? I said, there's this voice with a weird, it was like distorted. It was like, it had like an accent, and it said, unless you wire us some amount of money, I can't remember what it was, $800, $900, it feels like, to this address, I don't know, and you'll be, we will share this video to these 5 email addresses from your contacts. And it was like people that, like, friends of his or whatever, people that he worked with. And I was like, oh my God. And I said, well, what did you do? He goes, I didn't do anything. I didn't have $900. So I just hoped for the best, I said, did anything happen? No, nothing ever happened. But it was a terrible couple days. He goes, I was stressed out beyond belief. I was like, what? And you guys need to take this shit down a notch. My God. Seriously. This is, I don't know, whatever. I guess I'm just an old sack, right? Living in the past. I don't know anything about this, but I was thinking about that for some reason earlier today. And it's amazing what people will tell you. It's amazing what people do, apparently. I guess it's not that amazing what people will do, but it is amazing that people are so free with giving you the information. Like, why would you tell me this? I mean, if this happened to me, which it wouldn't, but if it did, I sure as shit wouldn't be telling people about it. I'd be so humiliated. I'd be, it'd be terrible. These guys are like, well, anyway, I was at home. I was watching porn. Just like an average night. I'm like, what the? Right there. I don't need to know that. All right. So anyway, that's what I had in mind. Or that's what I had. That's what I hijacked today's update or today's podcast. I'm having trouble. I didn't sleep very well again. That's an old man thing. I think that's going to have to be one of those no new Jeffs columns in the future. It's an aging thing. I write a monthly column, nonewjeffs.substack.com. Check it out. I put one up. It's the first day of every month. I put a January one up there about some adjustments that I have to make in my life because of my advanced age. I'm starting to feel old. So anyway, if you want to check that out, it's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good one. There's two columns up there. It's going to be a new one at the first day of every month, and it has something to do with aging, some aspect of aging, and I think sleeping is going to have to be addressed because this is a new thing for me, fairly new. I don't know. I can't sleep very well. I don't sleep as well as I should, and I never had this problem. And I'm kind of struggling right now. I'm kind of sleepy right now, and I don't know. I need to. I don't know. It sucks. Sleeping is, something, like I said, something I never had to deal with before, never had an issue with, and I always kind of like, when people talked about they can't sleep very well, I'm like, please, whatever, drama queen, I just like wrote it off since I don't have the problem. It's not a real problem, So anyway, I don't sleep very well. I'm not kind of dragging right now. Let's see what's happened. Betty White died. I don't know. People act like, oh God, Betty White. I loved her. What the? Okay, I don't know. Whatever. It's like she's on Mary Tyler Moore show or something. Or was she on the Golden Girls? Or maybe she was on both of those things. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, whatever. It's one of those things you're supposed to love. Oh, you're supposed to love Betty White. I don't understand, but whatever. Struck down in their prime at 99. Okay. Everybody has a buzz about that. Let's see. Let's see what else I got here. Toney's going on it. Listen to this shit. This might be a scam. I'm concerned about this a little bit, but it sounds legit, I guess. I mean, she did her due diligence, but Toney's going to do she's going to go participate in a mock jury, if you can believe this. It's at a hotel in Scranton. It's going to be, supposedly it's for young lawyers to go through a mock trial, right? And she's going to be a part of the jury. And she was chosen. I mean, she applied for it. I think she saw it on Indeed or something. And she went through a whole process. They asked her a bunch of questions and stuff, and she was chosen, supposedly. And she's going to go through a mock trial. She's going to sit on the jury of this fake trial, and they're going to put these new lawyers through the process of doing this, and she will receive a catered lunch, which is right there. I'm in. I like that. I like the sounds of a catered lunch, and $250 cash at the end of the day for one day's work. I thought that's pretty damn good. I need to get in on this shit. So anyway, I'm like, do you think it's legit? I mean, I don't know if it is. I mean, I don't know. I'm skeptical about it, but I don't know. I guess it sounds plausible. She goes, if I go in there and I get bad vibes on it, I'll just leave, But I don't know. She's going to do that Wednesday, and it's going to be a mock jury. She's going to be a jury. She's going to be on the jury. if it's real, I'm going to try to get in on that deal. I like both those things. Both of those things are my favorites. A catered lunch and cash. Two of my favorite things. All right, so we'll see how that goes. That's kind of interesting, right? You ever done anything like that? I haven't, but I don't even know. I mean, I don't read newspapers. I don't really scour I don't look at Indeed all the time. I just don't. It's not something I would ever know. I wouldn't even know about it, right? So she's doing that Wednesday. That should be interesting. Also, I think it sounds like it's a pretty sure thing. It sounds like it's really going to happen. I think all four of us are going to go to Florida in March. While my parents are still down there, we're going to stay around Tampa, somewhere in that area, and we're going to visit my parents, see my parents. I don't think Toney's seen my parents, and it's been years, because we can't go down there together. It used to be, for various reasons. I mean, because of our jobs and our situation, we could, there were years where we couldn't leave the kids alone because they were getting physical fights, like fist fights. We can't leave the dog. The dog's no longer, part of that equation. So anyway, so she hasn't seen my parents for a long time. When I go see my parents, I go by myself generally, or sometimes I take one of the boys. And she doesn't go because of the things I just mentioned. So she hasn't seen them. So all four of us are going to go down there. This is something so Toney has it in her head that she wants to investigate. Let's say investigate that area, that Tampa Bay, that area, and she thinks that we might be able to retire down there someday. Well, I mean, we're hot for Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is still on the list, but there's a lot of crime down there, which I didn't really realize. But I guess there's, you got to be. I mean, we wouldn't live in some area, but you'd be out in those areas probably. So I don't know. Myrtle Beach is still on the list because we love it down there. But we're going to look at Tampa too and see what we think of that area. So it's going to be to see my parents, to get a little vacation at the end of the long winter, and to check out the Tampa area of Florida, see if that might be a place we want to target in the future, So that's apparently going to happen. I told my folks about it. They're probably like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? How are we going to – I don't want them to come down here and be bored. They like put all this stress upon themselves. It's like, I don't want – we have to entertain them. We'll have to take them to Disney. We'll have to take them to the Space Center. We'll have to take – It's like you don't – I told my dad, I said, you don't have to worry about us. I said, we're going to – you don't have to worry about, entertaining us, we're just coming down for a visit, because I try to take the weight off their shoulders, we'll see. That's in March, so not too many, just a few weeks, really, It's fairly close when you think about it. Man, I hope baseball's fixed by then. Maybe I can go to, spring training. Hell yes. Why did I not think about this? Spring training will be going on down there in that time. I don't know who plays in Tampa, but I can find out with just a couple of keystrokes. I can find out. Man, the Reds play at Arizona, unfortunately, so I wouldn't be able to see them. But I could go to a spring training game. I've always wanted to do that. Woo. Man, I didn't even think about that. Hopefully they got it all fixed by then. Man. They're arguing over money, of course, and it's there's a lockout going on. I don't know. Hopefully they're smart enough to realize that if it affects one single game, if one single game is affected, people are going to revolt. I think people are on the verge. They've had it. They've had it with that bullshit. And they already lost the 2020 season. Basically, they had that stupid 60-game season with those stupid cutouts in the stands with like a bass. There's like a cutout of a bass sitting there, right next to Winston Churchill, and who the hell knows, like really stupid. And then so that was destroyed. So baseball's like all messed up, right? And They need to get this shit back on track. They can't affect one game, and I'm talking spring training. Starting in spring training, they can't affect one game. I think people are going to revolt. People on the bird. I think these are not stupid people. I mean, but they are stubborn. So I don't know. I mean, they should know, and I'm sure they do, that they need to get this shit straightened out. So we'll see. And if there's games going on down there, I might see if I can go to one. I'm sure it would be frowned upon by everybody but me. But we'll see how it goes. And before we call it a day here, I do have one call that came in on the hotline, the old Surf Report hotline, and that's from my old pal Eugene from Greensboro. I met Eugene at Peaches Records back when I worked there for about 4 years, and here it is.
Hey Jeff, this is Eugene from the Wheels Dog Podcast, your old Peaches buddy. Just adding something to your Patreon episode 241. You're talking about listening to the best albums of the year of 2021. I got two of them for you to consider. One of them is My Attention Span. That's the name of the project, My Attention Span. It's really a one-man band kind of thing. And the name of the album is Or Thereabouts. It features Toney, I guess that's how you pronounce his name. He's from Cheshire, England, from the band Great and Lady Soul. It was recorded and worked on for like 20 years. This guy's been working on this album. And finally got together with a guy here in Winston-Salem, Doug Davis, and turned that vision into a reality, and with some other musicians put out a great album. He's on the Less Desirables podcast for July 21st, 2021, and kind of explaining the whole process and how it happened and all this stuff. Very interesting podcast with the guy and his wife. It's a great album. I suggest you check it out. It's streaming, so My Attention Span. Check that out. Also, another band from Winston-Salem that I highly recommend, Cactus Black. The album is called The Marrow of the Truth. It is a fantastic album, and I really need to leave the house to see those guys, but like you, I've got so many shows under my belt. It's just a hassle, and I just don't want to deal with it. You know the deal. But eventually, I'm going to make my way out of the house to go see them. Again, Cactus Black, The Marrow of the Truth, My Attention Span, or Thereabouts. I highly recommend them. Try them out, stream them. It don't cost nothing except your subscription. So, yeah, check them out. Anyway, enjoying the podcast, man. Talk at you later. Bye.
Thanks for the call, Eugene. Always appreciated. I don't know either one of those bands. Or, I don't know, are they banned? You said the first one was more of a project. My Attention Span and Cactus Black. I will check them out for sure. I will play. I'll fire them up on Spotify and give them a listen. I appreciate that. I appreciate the suggestions. I've been going through those end of year. I follow this. There's this group on Facebook called, I don't know what it's called, but it's in tribute to there used to be this thing in Village Voice called the Paz and Jop Review. It was basically jazz and pop with the letters swapped. So Paz and Jop, right? And what the whole concept of that is, they asked every music reviewer in the world to submit their top 10 albums, top 10 songs, all that stuff. They had different categories. And they would crunch the numbers, and they would come out with this definitive, it was as close to definitive as you're going to get, list of the best albums of the year, best songs of the year, best reissue of the year, that kind of thing. And I loved that, man. Whenever that thing came out, I was all over it. And especially when it was on the internet, because you could drill down and look at each of the reviewers. There were hundreds of people that participated in this. It's like all these famous, music reviewers and critics from like Rolling Stone and Cream, like all these guys who used to work for Cream and all this stuff. And you could look at their ballot, you could see the overall ballot, and then you could see their stuff. It was just a bottomless pit of coolness, I love that kind of stuff. So anyway, but then the Village Voice went under, and it just kind of, went out of business. They still have a website, but they don't do that shit anymore. They don't do the Paz and Jop anymore. So these guys on Facebook, they created this Facebook group, and they kind of do it themselves. But they invite just music nerds, basically. I mean, I guess anybody's invited, but I don't think it's review. I don't think it's critics. I think it's like just big giant music nerds go on there and they list their albums of the year, and I've been going through those, and I don't know 80% of the bands. I don't know probably 90% of the bands or artists that they list on there. Like, how do you keep up with this stuff now? There used to be magazines that you could read, and I don't know how do you know about this stuff, you know? But I find I've been listening to if I see a list by somebody that seems interesting, I start playing the stuff on Spotify and giving it a listen. It's fun. Tony's like, why would you do that? But anyway, I thank you guys. Thank you, Eugene, for calling me in with these suggestions. My attention span, Cactus Black. I will give them both a listen, and I'll check out that podcast too. That sounds interesting. So thanks for calling, and I know what you're saying. I don't go out to see bands anymore. I mean, I don't know. There's not any around here, really, you know. I have to travel. I am going to see the Eels in April, May, somewhere. May, I think. That's the only thing I got on the docket. I don't, you know, I've had enough. I went to see hundreds, thousands, millions maybe. I don't need, you know, I don't know, well, I'm not proud of it. Anyway, thank you for the call, Eugene. I appreciate it. And call anytime. And all of you call. You know, it's an open invitation. The number, 570-290-8151. Give me a call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, you don't have to, you know, like whenever the urge hits you. You know, you can be half in the bag. I don't care. Call me up, 570-290-8151. Ask a question, leave a suggestion, whatever you want to do. You can do it. Put it in your phone. Tap that bastard. Give me a call. Also, as I mentioned before, the Substack article, the column is up for January. That's over at nonewjeffs.substack.com. Check that out and subscribe if you want to, you know. You can subscribe to have them delivered straight to your email inbox. So check that out if you want to. If you're interested in doing that, it's free. It doesn't cost a damn thing. So again, that's nonewjeffs.substack.com. And what else? Check out the Surf Report Pod website for expanded show notes, pictures, links. You know, it's a companion to the podcast. I think it's pretty good. So check that out at surfreportpod.com. I think that's enough. I don't know. It feels like there's more. Oh, that $10 scratch off project. Oh God, that causes me physical anguish. It's almost over. I think we're at week 50, so I only got 2 more weeks, and I don't know. It's going to have to be a miracle. It's going to have to be an Easter miracle to get out of this hole. I'm in a deep, deep hole, which I don't know if I'll ever get. Anyway. So you can follow that if you want. Well, it's up to you. It doesn't matter to me. I'm disgusted with that whole process. All right, we're at the end of this thing. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you listening to it, and I hope you guys all have, and I'll include myself in that, and everybody I know. Hope we all have a fantastic 2022, right? Let's do it. All right, until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side. Oh, Patreon, there we go. I didn't talk about that. Yeah, you know how it works. The next one will be over on the Patreon side. Until then, you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see you. Bye. And they're like, unless you send, I don't want to do the accent.